Everything is connected, and yet inside you there is a war. This is not just a philosophy. It's not just spirituality. It's reality. And because right now, whether you realize it or not, three forces are fighting for control of your life: your mind, your body, and your spirit. They don't always agree. In fact, they're often at war. Your mind wants logic, your body wants experience, and your spirit wants purpose. So who wins? Because here's the truth: one of these is already in charge of your life. And if you feel stuck, conflicted, or lost, it's because the wrong one is leading the way. But this war doesn't just exist inside of us, it exists in the world too. Humanity itself is trapped in conflict. Every civilization, every system, every philosophy has been an attempt to answer which force should lead. And to me, a true marker of civilization, whether in a system, a person, or a business, is how deeply they understand interconnectedness. Because every great tradition has wrestled with this war. The Buddhists, they called it dependent origination, showing that nothing exists independently. The ancient Egyptians built a society around Ma'at, where which looked at the harmony between forces. The indigenous wisdom keepers knew that the life flows only when the whole is honored. And Western mystics encoded it in Hermetic principles, the great mirror between the mind, body, and spirit, mainly still spoken about in as the as above and the soul below. Yet today, we are still at war. Modern science, psychology, and spirituality treat these forces separately: mind over here, body over here, body over there, and spirit somewhere else. And that's the problem. So, this channel has never been about surface level thinking, it's about pioneering new solutions, solutions that finally bring these forces together instead of keeping them divided. And so, I've spent 20 years chasing this question, one of the deepest questions that lay at the core of my soul. How is the all the one and the one the all? That question drives everything that I do. That's why I won't stop. That's why I build systems that actually reflect the universal oneness, because systems that don't just analyze you but reveal the truth of who you really are. Because this isn't just a philosophy, this is a resolution. The war between the mind, body, and spirit ends when you finally understand, or should we say, understand. And so, who wins? Let's find out. All right, cool. So yeah, that was the introduction. Um, and yeah, we're gonna basically be going through mainly my notes up. Yeah, so we're mainly going to be going through the psycho-spiritual aspects of self and the body aspects of self, basically. So these are the areas that we're going to cover. So psychology, which is the mind, the spirit, and the body. And we're going to look how these things interplay and how we can basically bring about cohesion. This is essentially what we're doing. And so most methods are quite limited because they don't interconnect. Through my app, obviously, that I've built, which is an Omni Divination app, it has this whole idea of connecting separate divination systems and integrating them to see the oneness, to see the cohesion, or maybe even to see where there are differences, but essentially to see the interconnectedness, the interplay. This is the key. Um, Most people are familiar with personality tests, but these personality tests, whether it's the Myers-Briggs, the Big Five, they tell you your personality type, but it doesn't really go any deeper than that. It wasn't designed to influence it. It does the job. It serves the purpose. Therapy focuses on healing the past, not unlocking the true self. And astrology, insightful. Literally, I built a divination app, so it's insightful. And well, actually, astrology, in fairness, does go deep, so it can cover the body. In fairness, But you could say that many divination systems don't cover the body, for example. I'll put astrology to one side as I'm looking at my notes. Um, but even a bigger point with with a lot of the divination systems is why, or the reason why I built my system is that most divination systems don't have solutions built into them. You kind of have to infer them yourself. So, you know, we want to be solutions focused basically. So they look real practical application, most divination systems and readings in general, you know. The reader will only be as good as the reader's ability to provide a solution to what they've read. And then you've got tools that measure your body, measure your heartbeat. Think the smartphone. Most people, a lot of people now will have a smartphone, will have a smart watch even. And that's got certain reads on you, tell you how well you're sleeping, tell you about your heart rate, tell you about your stress levels, that's now been standardized for the last 5 years. And so they're great for tracking the physical. And when they focus on the stress levels, they're not really that deep. So your smartwatches, it literally just says the level of stress you're at. It doesn't really give you any insight. I mean, that's real base level. Oh, I'm a little bit stressed. I'm a lot stressed, you know, but it doesn't tell you much, literally. So it misses the mind spirit connection. And so, yeah, like I said, next week I'm going to be revealing how we're going to basically solve this problem. Just like literally, but I'm going to do that next week. So this week more is about the philosophy, and just insights into the psycho spiritual, more like the mind. We're going to go into some of the mind stuff more first today. Warm you up with that stuff. And so basically, we've built a system that has 3 layers. Yeah, I can share my screen actually. Yeah, I can share my screen with this. It's pretty decent. Yeah, ChatGPT did decent actually, in fairness. So let's share my screen with my notes, with full notes. Let's forget what the button is. There you go. A letter from the. No, we don't need the letter. Please leave it alone. And let's pull it down. And 1 second. Move to new window. That's what I was looking for. Move to new window. Let's sort this out. Right, a few seconds as usual. Sort myself out. Sort myself out. Whatever. All right, cool. Give me a few more seconds. Just get the slide up that I want. Okay, cool. We're here. Kind of messed up a little bit. Um, all right, cool. We'll share it. We'll kind of flick and share some stuff. Like share. All right, cool. We're on camera. Time. All right, cool. Done. All right. All right. Thank you very much for your patience. So yeah, obviously we're just saying, what if there was a way to connect them all? Mind, cognition, consciousness, psycho, spiritual states, body, bioenergetics, health and frequency, and then got double between these two. We have crazy today. All good people, all good. Yeah, and then the spirit is soul divination and universal alignment. Yeah, this is messed up a little bit. So yeah, why we built this system. So our approach basically is, or the approach that you have to be if you really want to solve this case, is that you need to have a multi-layered system. So you need your psycho spiritual assessments. You need to have some way of doing biofeedback through the body or bioenergetics. And then you need divination. So I'm not saying you need all of these things, but this is how I'm seeing how you build a holistic picture, which allows you to finally answer that aspect of know thyself. And what we're basically saying is that this know thyself is going to be a journey, people. You're gonna know yourself in a single snapshot, but that self has so many layers that these three things take on a life of their own. They basically become lifelong. So you're now having, I've basically given you guys a lifelong framework for studying self. That's basically what I'm working towards. And everybody will be able to do it. Um, yeah. And this will be about as advanced as it gets based on where we are now, 2025. And I'm only going to be building more stuff to add to it. The people that I'm working with are only going to be building more stuff to add to this. But where we are right now, we can still say it's about as advanced as it gets. So, so basically, yeah, and what we're saying is it won't really matter who you are. So this, in terms of from a business opportunity, because like I said, there's a business element to it, but in terms of just like who this is for, it basically covers anybody that is into the journey of know thyself. That covers it everything. But people that want to know themselves are performers. Why do you want to know yourself? Because you want to improve yourself. So really, we're just talking about the whole self improvement market essentially. But I've just chosen to break it down into these four archetypes because these are my four archetypes. The true seeker who has knowledge, insight, and mental clarity. So your true seeker is obviously knowledge, insight, and mental clarity. They're going to be people that will take that edict or that call to action of know thyself the most seriously, basically. So they're about all of the things, especially around the mind as well. They're probably going to be interested more in the things around the psycho spiritual aspects and those kind of connections. Whereas you get the empathetic soul, who's going to be more heart led. They're going to be more about pain, avoiding pain, essentially. They may have had trauma in their life, um, but they feel they may be empaths, obviously empathetic, so on and so forth. And they're sensitive to energy. So obviously, this is obviously all built off of oneness principles and that the universe is energy or everything is energy. And so an empathetic soul will be someone that needs to understand themselves from an energetic perspective because they're so sensitive, because they're hypersensitive. So this is for the hypersensitive people, the empathetic souls. And then we've got the spiritual achievers. Now, these are the people that are just literally looking to live life to its max, no stone unturned. And so when you put in front of them an optimal solution, like something that's pioneering, something that's cutting edge, they're the first people that want to bite your hands off. They're not going to wait for, let's say, the mass market to take space because they just want to achieve this thing now if it can be proven. And then the spiritual leaders are obviously ones that are just more in terms of like community. So like these are the community builders basically. Like, oh wow, I've I've helped myself so much with this thing. I now want to go and share it with the world. So this is that. This is them. So like these might be the guides, for example, like the spiritual guides, or kind of your gurus or whatever you want to call it, basically. But you get the idea. So if you are one of these four archetypes, then everything that I've been doing is for you. Like if you identify with any one of these, or more than two, or more than one, the way it really works is it works blended. If I still go a bit deeper with it, I might even go a bit more deeper with it today. But basically, it works on a blended system. So as I keep on saying, the idea is not to get trapped into astrology. You don't want to be held by. You don't want to be imprisoned by these energies. These energies should be tools for your liberty, not your tools for your slavery. And so you basically want to have the ability to understand the gate that you came through, but then understand that through the interconnectedness of everything. You are all gates. It's just that you're it's just that there was only one gate that you came through, because that's just the way the universe works in this particular realm in terms of duality, or so-called duality as we call it. But the idea is that you are basically what we're calling, what I reframed, I used to call a deep soul seeker, but a deep soul seeker. I basically just call a deep soul, basically. So the centered self is a deep soul, essentially, is what we're saying. So that would be like the centered archetype that can relate and has learned to integrate all four aspects of self. So what we're basically saying is that when you do my questionnaires, so, so let me just build up again. So let me actually do a proper introduction. So basically, anyone that works with me on a serious level, and again, I'll reveal this more next week, but anyone that works with me on a serious level, it always starts with a questionnaire, or a series of questionnaires and assessments, because I need to know who you are. Because you said you want to know who you are, so we need to have work together. Um, and with all my life coaching clients, obviously, once I understand who you are, we then go into who you want to be, or where you want to be. And where you want to be, so you're okay. So we come in, we do these assessments, and you tell me that you're here. My camera's back to front today. So anyway, so yeah, you tell me that you're here, and you say that you want to get to here. So that space in between is the gap. That's called the work, or the play, essentially. And so all we're basically doing is just stamping and understanding you from that perspective. Um, and so we look at your archetypes, basically. So you answer these questionnaires, and one of the outputs it does is it will tell you where you are percentage wise. And nobody is 100% a truth seeker, and nobody's 100% of any of these archetypes, because then you move. Because if you think on that level, then you move yourself into caricature, and you're not a caricature, you're a real person. So you're going to be a blend. You're going to be a mixture of these things, and we basically tell you the percentages based on this questionnaire, this psycho spiritual questionnaire that we have. So we then have we then want to identify the harmonics within you. So imagine yourself as notes on a piano or keyboard, or just notes, essentially musical notes. And all of these notes are sounds that can be played at any one time. But if you play them at the wrong chord, if you play them and you miss a note, or you don't actually get things in order, then what you're going to be seeing is chaos. You're going to be hearing discord. That was the word I was looking for. You're going to be seeing discord, as in chords, discord. And so the idea of a harmonic integrated system is that everything is cordial. We are cordial to one another. Every element within you is cordial to one another, working in harmony, harmonics. And so what we do basically is we've basically got a way to understand the different plates that are spinning, like the different wheels that are spinning, the different energy wheels that are spinning within yourself. Um, like your authority, for example. We might look at that. We might look at what your goals are. We might like look at what your time, like how time rich or time poor you are. And so everybody that does this always wants to be a 10 out of 10 on everything. And what I tell them realistically is that to get 10 out of 10 on everything is not really the idea. It's actually not even the aim. The aim is to understand how to prioritize your time. The aim is to understand how to move in balance and rhythm. It's not necessarily about happiness. It's about coherence. It's about coherence. And so we track how the past self influences. We look at your current energetic state, and then we look at your future energetic pools, and we look at that as a snapshot altogether. So bioenergetics, yeah, I got so bioenergetics. Okay, I just realized I was sharing the slides. Okay, cool. I actually thought I was sharing the slides because the slides are not formatted correctly, basically. So bioenergetics meets psycho-spiritual evolution. That is the key to real transformation. That's basically what I was saying. Um, and yeah, like I said, the mind seeks to control strategy and logic. The body operates on instinct and energy and motion, and then the spirit connects to higher wisdom and the unseen. And so these forces are competing against each other. Within your mind, you will also have forces. The madness is that within your mind, you will also have forces that are seeking to control your mental space. Within your body, you're going to have systems, organs. Think about the word organs, music again. These organs are going to be fighting to be heard. This is obviously for bodies that are in disarray. They're going to be fighting to be heard. So they're going to want to shout. Some of those systems become timid. And so they cower. They become what? Overpowered. So we're talking about energy here, people. So like when I'm saying this stuff, think about it from an energetic perspective. You've got you've got certain aspects of yourself which are dominating, which are overpowering other parts of your system, and then you've got other systems that get drowned out through sound. So another frame in which you can frame this in is sound drowning out. I literally lost my train of thought. We'll keep it moving. I told you it's one of them days today. I'm not even going to try and attempt to bring it back. It's just how it is. The body, so the body operates on instinct, energy, and motion, and then the spirit connects to higher wisdom and the unseen. So there's been videos before where I've showed you about the spiritual body, and I've said how you've got the astral body and causal body, mental planes, your soul plane, so on and so forth. So each one of those, if they're not in harmony, that is causing a disease. If your heart isn't speaking to your gut, speaking to your brain, then your viruses and bacteria, or the bad ones anyway, and parasites are gonna overtake your system. They're gonna take control because your energy isn't able to fight. So yeah, I'm just looking for my notes. So yeah, let me just show you some stuff. Like I said, I don't think I'm gonna be on too long, to be honest. I actually don't think I'm gonna be on too long. I don't think I'm gonna be on too long. Like, yeah, I just don't feel to be. It's just like, yeah, it's just one of those. But also though, if anyone's got any questions though, I definitely have time for people. I definitely have time for people. So any questions that anyone has, kind of about anything, I prefer to kind of just like freestyle today. I don't really want to get too formal, but I'll just share some stuff anyway. I'm just going to share my screen for a bit, basically. Um, Stuff that I've not revealed before. So let me just get some stuff up. I'll just talk through it. Yeah, I'll just talk through it again. I'm not really. Yeah, I'll just talk through it. All right. So the harmonic system We will look at things like your emotional state. We'll look at things like your resilience and adaptability. We'll look at things like your creativity, and we'll look at that on a timeline. And the key thing that happens after that is that we start then looking at the interconnectedness of this system. So even though we look at what is it 18, so we look at 18 different elements and aspects to your system. Like I said, mental state would be one, spiritual state would be another, emotional state would be another, for example. That's three. We then do something called analysis blends. So in that analysis blend, we would look at how these 15, 18 different systems, when they work in harmony, when they blend together, how that shows on your system as well. So we basically give you scores, or you basically give yourself scores. There's a scoring system to this, a weighting system. So which energies, like we said, are more dominant than others, and in what time periods as well. Also take into account your future self as well as your past self. And then we basically have these blends. So like I've got a blend called the Inner Harmony Insight Blend. So the Inner Harmony Insight Blend, or your inner harmony, is when you have your mental, spiritual, and your peace in one as one. So when you rank a high score on that, it basically means that will basically tell me that you have inner harmony. You have inner harmony. You have inner peace. If those scores are low, then it tells you that I've got to do a lot of work. So this basically again, just to be clear, is the foundation of my life coaching. So this is the system that I've built, and it begins with these assessments. So it's the foundation of like how I know what to treat. Like how would I know how to help you if I didn't know, you know, if I couldn't assess yourself. So this is essentially what this is, but on a psycho spiritual level. And then, like I said, we've got the four archetypes. That's another system, or that's another way of assessing you. The four archetypes, or the five archetypes, if you include the deep soul as well. And then we've got just like your standard well-being wheel. So your standard well-being wheel is got 11 different elements to it, or 11 different parts of your life, essentially. So a couple of them is like, what's your purpose? What are your spiritual beliefs? What are your relationships like, for example? So that, that's 3 out of the 11. So we look at that. And then again, you are ranked. So depending on where you are, obviously, if you're scoring 50% on something, well, then obviously, that's going to bring to attention that we've got some work to do here, basically. We've got some work to do. But you might actually, but the key thing with what I do, basically, the key thing with what I do is that there is a user or a client um, feedback. It's a feedback loop. So they're always telling me their priorities, because you might actually be happy with this 50%. You might actually just not really like people. So there might be one around relationships or people, and you scored low on that. But you don't really care because it's just not a priority. You don't feel like it's important that you have good relationships or strong relationships. Maybe you're a bit of a loner or autonomous or whatever. I'm not here to judge. It's your life essentially. You do what you want to do. And so we look at basically where you are against where you want to be. And then obviously the bigger the gap, the higher the priority. It's pretty standard. Um, Pretty standard stuff. And then the final one that I built is the one that I'm, most proud of, because this one is, you know, advanced. It's like mind blowing. It's more like, yeah, they're all needed, but this next one, this final one that I've built, um, is yeah, real special. Like I need to speak. I need to start speaking about it more. Like I've had it obviously for like over a year. Been working on it. I've been, helping my clients with this, and it's real transformative. But I actually need to start showing people um soon, basically soon. Hmm. And that's something called a spirit walk. So the spirit walk is where you understand where you are from a developmental psychology perspective. What developmental psychology essentially is essentially psychology tests that map out where you are in a particular aspect of your journey. So you would have like Maslow's hierarchy being the classical one, especially for businesses. You've got Maslow's hierarchy. So Maslow's hierarchy is really focused on autonomy and motivation. So it's focused on motivation. Um, and there's 5 levels of motivation. So we want to know where you are in that journey because it's really important. Like motivation is really important. You know, it's your motor, your motivation. Like, you know, without that, you don't have an engine, you don't have no drive. You're not really going to move. So basically, Maslow's Maslow hierarchy allows me to understand where you are from an energetic perspective. You know, your motoring system, your engine system. So, you know, are you at the place energetically that's centered around love and belonging? Or are you more about security? Like these are, you know, two of the 5 levels. And so then based on where you are, we then put protocols in place to get you to the highest level. So obviously, you know, I'm in the business of transformation. I've said this before. And that basically means that I mainly work with clients who want to achieve the highest version of themselves. It's basically it. It would be hard to work with me as a client if you went into like pushing yourself, living your best life. It would be difficult for me to work with you because I have too many ways to do that. And if you said I didn't want to live my best life, then I'm not sure. I don't know how would I respond to that. I'm not sure. You, I don't know. Just we shouldn't work together. I don't want to be rude to be honest, but yeah, I don't think we can work together. Like I'm into transformation, so if you're not into that, then we can't work together. It's just that simple. Not everything is for everybody. So what's so beautiful about this system is it works with this whole interconnectedness mind frame, very similar to the blending, the harmonic blends um analysis, where we look at we look at let's get the number up 15, 40, is that 14 or 15? 15 different psychological assessments, many of them peer reviewed. So we've got like 8 or 9 that are peer reviewed, and then we've got 3 or 4 that are semi peer reviewed, like all semi, well, 2 of them that are semi peer reviewed, and then a few that are not that peer reviewed, but I just like the systems basically. So I actually, when I first launched the business, I did speak about this in detail, and I think I even showed this stuff as well. I need to find the video where I actually just show you the tools themselves. But again, I'm just not today's not the day when we're gonna go really heavy and deep into it. It's more of a flavor. It's probably this probably will be a nice video in terms of just getting an introductory flavor and feel for the stuff as without going too deep and actually seeing it and breaking down the different elements basically. This will probably be a nice video that I'll send to people. Um, and yeah, it covers many spiritual aspects and a diversity of different aspects along your journey. So when we're looking at the 15, basically what we're saying is that this one assessment will tell you 15, will give you 15 different journey maps. So on Maslow's, you might be at level 3. On the Eastern system, you might be at level 4. At another system, you might be at level 10. You might be 70% there. That's just what I mean. So again, we then have that then allows us to again build another conversation. Where would you like to be? Because this system, like I'm underplaying all this stuff, by the way. This stuff is all amazing. It's all amazing, but it's just how it is. So yeah, the level of depth, I'm just gonna say the level of depth in which it's able to show you that level is, what that level means. We've got like look at the number now. It's got 64 ways to break down any level. So we break down, say like you'll say like you're at level 4 in Maslow's, you're at love and belonging basically within Maslow's hierarchy. We would have 64 different ways in which this element divides itself and influences and is interconnected as a system. So we look at the system, we look at the interconnectedness across 64 different ways of connections. We look at 64 connections. There you go. We look at 64 connections per level from your we've grouped it up into your spiritual, your self, your mental, your ethics, your emotion, your physical states, some more as well. And that's at the top layer. And then as sub layer, we have the 64 elements basically. So it's about what, 10 different groups broken down into 64 elements further categories. So yeah, this tool is pretty mind blowing because it gives such clear instructions on how to and what to do to get to the next level, because the next level just obviously has another 64. And so you can always flip in, or you could just read the top levels, like, the kind of Buddha level versions or the highest level versions of the psycho spiritual tests, and just go for the transformation. You just skip all the ones. You just see where you are now, and just go straight for the top, and you just like try and run from there, like just try and run before you can walk again. That's something that we discuss. Um, that I discuss with my clients basically. So yeah, that's the psycho spiritual assessment. So that's the psycho spiritual assessments, and then again, like I said, um, the the other one is obviously the readings. So that's the mental aspect we just covered. Then from a soul level, we obviously have the readings. The Omni, the Sono, my app. I'm only going to speak about it for a couple of minutes because there's so many videos. Literally, it's obviously what the business is about. The business is called Sono, but just in case this is your first time watching, um, I've basically built the world's first Omni Divination app, or the most comprehensive. And basically, what it means is that I've got 13 to 18 different divination systems, depending on how you want to categorize them. And it integrates all of them into one report. So normally you would have to go to an astrology website to understand your astrology, numerology to understand your numerology. And none of these two systems are speaking the same language. They all say different information. It's really, really confusing, really often contradictory. And you're kind of, especially if you look at more than 2 to 3 systems, you're kind of just left, maybe sometimes even, I won't say worse off, because you now have more information, but then it's your ability to um, decipher what that all means. And that's kind of like you would have to be in such a clear headspace, and you would have to be at a high level of synchronicity and um, a connecting of the dot, basically, a quantum connector. You would literally have to be a master connector in order to do that. And so we basically just make your life easy, and you just put your details in, just the same details that you'd have in an astrology website. And we just give you a report, and this report already has the cohesion. It already speaks the same language. And at the end is a summary which integrates everything basically and just gives you a holistic perspective. So you wouldn't even, so for example, how we're actually going to be pushing this. This is like some of my late siders from the last couple of weeks. How we're actually going to be pushing this a bit better is that we're probably not going to be focusing on the 18 different divination systems because it's just too complex for most people. Most people are just not at that, won't have the patience or the need as well, and ability to be able to grasp the full report. That's why, again, I'm not selling the report as a PDF download. Just sell it and take it away because I know it will just leave most people, they won't be able to extract the value from it. Essentially, it's not as intuitive for you to extract the value from it, because when I do a reading, anyone that's received the reading from me knows how I'm saying so many things that's not on the reading because of how I'm able to connect the dots. and there's only so much we can do. You know, through text has to be it has to be intuitive basically in order for you to get the value from it. Sorry, to get the full value, you get value from it without being intuitive, but you get 10 times more value if you are intuitive and you are you are a syncretist. Um, so yeah, you've got the soul system, which we're calling or the divination, connecting with the divine, divination, connected with the divine. You've got the psycho spiritual through all of those assessments that I just mentioned, those 4 to 5 assessments that I just mentioned. And then the fourth one is, sorry, the third element is the bioenergetics, the connecting of the body. So before, before the basically when I launched the business, so I only launched the business with the two components in mind. So that's why I started with those two first, which was the omni divination system and the psycho spiritual assessments. They then were the system that I launched with, but the roadmap was always to add some form of biofeedback tool, energetic tool, a physical body tool. But obviously, I had to start somewhere, so I didn't launch that, and that's outside of my expertise. I don't know how to build biofeedback tools. So again, I was focusing on the things that were unique to me. I'd have to use a third party for the biofeedback stuff, so it wasn't my priority to build or even integrate. Let's just say, and I'm really happy I'm waited because the um, perfect tool only got launched 6 months ago. Only got launched 6 months ago, and it was basically in beta, which basically means it wasn't really even launched. So it actually launched version 1.0, I think about 3 months ago, maybe 2 months ago. But I've been keeping my eye on it since. I've been keeping my eye on it for about 4 or 5 months, basically. But just hmm, allowing time for the time to be right, which is basically now or 3 weeks ago, let's just say. And yeah, like I said, I'll be revealing what the name of this tool is. For anyone that missed the start of the chat, I have I've not signed all the agreements yet, so we're at negotiation paperwork stage in terms of me being a distributor slash reseller, basically, of this product. Um, and so yeah, until the paperwork's signed, but it definitely be signed by next week. I can't really, reveal too much. But yeah, like I said, anyone that caught me at the start, they heard some of my energy and my excitement. Um, but yeah, I haven't had much sleep and I'm fasting. So obviously I observe Ramadan for anyone that doesn't know. I'm a Muslim. And so I'm observing Ramadan and I literally yesterday fasted on 1 hour sleep. And I don't think most people would have noticed because I was pretty decent. Like I actually didn't even feel tired. Um, but yeah, I can feel like my energy levels are low, but they're kind of chilled, like on purposely low. Like I could raise the volume more, but I actually just don't want to. I'm so like content. I'm enjoying my contentness. So we're just gonna we're gonna keep with the energy. We're not gonna force anything different. But basically, anyone that heard me at the start, I basically said that the science of biofeedback, which is essentially reading the energetics of your body. So the universe is mental and everything is energy. So anyone that's into Nikola Tesla, sciences, anyone that's heard of Walter Russell, anyone that watched the Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard, or has watched Terrence Howard stuff, um, anyone that's just even dabbled into that kind of world and understanding that we are quantum and all these kind of things. If you've ever watched one of those videos, and you're interested in that as a philosophy and an idea, and you actually want to put that into practice, because again, I've never been about the theory only. I talk a lot because I talk a lot, but solutions have to be the key. Solutions have to be the key. So I'm always looking out for solutions. So for literally for 10 years, I've been looking at solutions, and I've never pressed the button. Well, I'll say never pressed the button. I've pressed the button like 50 times before, but I would say that I was just playing about, so like the small stuff basically. Um, but I've had my eye on certain things, certain technologies for the past 10 years, basically. And I've kept my eye on the industry. The whole point is I've kept my eye on basically, I've kept my eye on the industry of spiritual technology. I think that's the best way to put it. So anything to do with spiritual technology, um, I'm all over. And I've been all over it for 10 years because what's up, quantum, bro? Well, go on, Paul. Um, so yeah, so I've basically been on looking into researching spiritual technology for 10 years, and I've probably dabbled in the cheaper end of the stuff, the small stuff, let's just say, you know. Spiritual technology also includes crystals, by the way. So, I have countless crystals upstairs, for example. I'm into sacred geometry. It's always something by me. Do you know what I mean? I think I've showed off this kind of stuff before. Like, again, I'm on a real low energy vibe. It is what it is. I'm not trying to, it's what it is. I just feel like I'm in such a chilled mode. But like, this shit heals, bro. That's all I'll say. This heals. No ifs or buts. This heals. This alone heals. 24 karat gold. So that yellow, that thing that looks yellow, that's not yellow. That is 24 karat gold plated in a sacred geometry. Sacred geometry. Like literally, I didn't even prepare this. This was just stuff that was by me. I wasn't even preparing this. Like literally, I haven't prepared this lecture today. Like I said, like anyone that saw the start of it. Anyone know what these are? Yes. My name is Leon. My name is not Leon. I'm joking. Anyway, these are dowsing tools. Basically, if you don't know what these are dowsing tools. It's how you can find water. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's basically how you can find stuff, and also how you can find as you can answer it questions, find aspects about yourself. But these ones in particular are normally used for your environment. Like if you wanted to go find your lost keys or find the spiritual center of your house. Then what I said there. Where is my house most spiritually potent? That's what this answers if you know how to use them. So I know mine in my house. Hmm. You could even say, where are my spiritual centers? Go find more than one. Go see if there's a pattern and a geometry. Like, I'm so chill today. It's just like, but like, I'll give you a little something. You'd like, literally, is there a grid system? Is there a spiritual grid system that's based on ley lines within my house? Because to my surprise, I got one. I got a shape. I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. That's crazy. There's sacred geometry going on in my house. That's mad. Um, you know, I don't have much stuff with me today because like literally I'm just thinking about like, yeah, boom. And then this one is more of a singular one, a singular pendulum. Yeah, this one's mad. Show me my energy. All right, wait there. Let me actually hold properly. All right, cool. Show me my energy. Yo, that's crazy. So basically, this is a mirrored thing. My actual everything is mirrored. Like it's the mirrored screen today. I don't know why. Is it a mirror screen today? Yeah, it's like a mirrored screen. So what that was doing there was going anti-clockwise. On your screen, I think it would have looked like it was going clockwise, but it was actually going anti-clockwise, which basically means that my energy was unwinded. Like basically, it reflected my chill state. Basically, it reflected my chill state. If I was overactive and I was on my normal like spiritual high, like whatever that kind of energy that I bring sometimes, um, it probably would have went the other way, basically, or it most likely would have went. Well, depending on how I asked it as well. Hmm. Obviously, everything's about your intention. So if you don't know how to set your intention, then it could do anything. Basically, it just could be cool, real random. Obviously, I'm a practitioner, so I know what I'm doing. So yeah, dowsing tools, you know, allow us to connect to the spirit. Dowsing tools allow us to connect to the spirit. Um, and based on our bioenergetics. Oh wow, yeah. Well, I didn't say that. Yeah, so this is key. Yeah, this is nice. This is actually a nice one. Essentially, this is a bioenergetic device. So bioenergetics is not a name that I've made up. You can just Google it. It's a excuse me. It's a niche but growing area of science where basically people are there are studies, like hundreds of studies, like as in it's not that niche, like hundreds of studies, if not probably thousands of studies by now, of people trying to map out the energetics of your body. So we are all energy. We have lights, we have vibrations. So there are thousands of studies of people trying to map out your energetics and try to understand how these energetics relate to health, mainly health. But then there's what's been happening recently or in more recent times is how these bioenergetics also influence your emotions, they influence your mind, let's just say. And so when I'm saying this, because the studies that I'm speaking about are not the ones that will talk about anything spiritual. They'll just connect everything to the mind body connection. Basically, it's more about the mind body connection. And in that is also emotions. They're not really trying to talk about spiritual stuff because you can't scientifically really speak about that on a obviously commercial mainstream level. So but I'm saying like actual public money is being spent researching this stuff, like, as in national level. So again, I don't want to get technical. There's no way I'm in the mood for any technicalities today, but it's not that fringe. It's fringe-ish, but it's trending. Essentially, we're talking about the technology of the future. Maybe not in this particular form, but the study of your bioenergetics, as in the energy of your life energy, what people would have called your life, your vital force, your chi. Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, which is obviously Indian, homeopathy, which is Western. You know, all of these fringe us. Well, I'm not calling them fringe. All of these systems are essentially can fall under the framework of bioenergetics. So that those meridians that you have, those acupuncture points, those meridians, those centers are energy centers. So you have your chakras, which are, your big energy centers in shiny in so we'll say chakras. Oh yeah, chakras in the Vedic system, Hindu system, and then you've obviously got in the Chinese system, you've got your dantians, you've got your three dantians. So they don't really work off the seven chakras; they work off the three dantians, and then obviously you've got your Chinese then acupuncture points as well. So, but all of these are can be classed as energy centers. So bioenergetics is essentially the study of energy. And so this is obviously the oldest, the most ancient science. It doesn't really have a time on this science. We know this because the stuff would have been oral. Yeah. I mean, again, I feel like if you're watching this video this far, you probably know that all the ancients already had this science already locked on lock. The oldest temple in one of the oldest ancient sites in the world, um, is in South Africa, which is where they say the cradle of civilization is from. Who knows? Maybe it is. And so, one of its most ancient sites has got these what they call stone circles. I'll answer that in a second. Let me just not lose my train of thought. Um, Stone circles, ancient. No, South Africa. I can't remember what the place is called, to be honest. South Africa. Let me just pull up this image for you lot. I don't think this is it. I don't think I'm gonna see what I'm looking at. Ah yeah, boom. There you go. There's my guy. 'Cause that's what I was even gonna say as well. Michael Tellinger. So yeah, if you really wanna research this stuff, Michael Tellinger's an OG basically. Like he's, I've probably known him. I've probably known him since I was, first got into the knowledge. I don't even know how long I know this name for, but yeah, like Michael Tellinger anyway. He basically is the spiritual guy that studies. Is like the foremost prominent expert on the stone circles of South Africa, and he even has a museum basically. And so I was listening to him on Dan Winter's show. I was like, oh wow, what a fantastic collaboration. I didn't even know that they knew each other or whatever. So that was an incredible, collaboration. Basically, that was an incredible podcast. Basically, it's an incredible podcast. I recommend checking it out. So yeah, Dan Winter. Just put Dan Winter, Michael Tellinger, basically. Um, and anyway, they had these. I can't remember what he called them because none of them is that. But look, again, the sacred geometry is all there. But the healing effects of the stone circles. Basically, he was speaking about the healing effects of the stone circles. Like I didn't even Google that, but that's what he was speaking about. And ah, yeah, I can't find it. I can't find it. I'm not going to find it. But he had one of these. Switch this one again. Yeah, he had this Taurus. This is a Taurus, by the way. This is a 2D Taurus, just to be clear. But he had a 3D. He had a proper Taurus, like a donut that was made of stone. And the reason why we're speaking to Dan Winter is because Dan Winter is like, let's just say, probably the leading spiritual electrical engineer, or he's up there. He's up there. Leading doesn't mean he's a leader. Leading. And that's why Michael Tellinger was there, because Michael Tellinger knows that Dan Winter is one of the leading. He was like, yeah, I just need to reach out to you now because it's just that time, basically. It's literally, he was talking about like the motive of why they were speaking to each other. And he was like, yeah, because I need your help, basically, because we've confirmed it too many times that these Tauruses are healing devices. It's beyond doubt now, and we want your help. He's talking to Dan Winter, like we want your help so we can understand more of the science of it. Because all we know is that this is performing miracles, basically. And he's going through stories and talking about his own journey. He was like, right now I can feel it. Like these were just active healing circles. Um, Powerful, powerful, powerful. Like, yeah, I would recommend go watching that video. Basically, there were thousands of these. Like basically, was it thousands or hundreds? There are hundreds that he had in his possession. Remember how many might have got destroyed as well. So on around this site in South Africa, it's a massive site. It's one of the biggest. I believe it's the biggest like ceremonial site on the planet. I believe so, but I'm not sure. It's up there anyway in terms of like square foot. And so what was incredible, because I remember at the time when we were talking about the slow circles years ago, but what I didn't know is that each one of these stone circles actually had its own unique signature. What that basically meant is that different stone circles did different healing. So that was like what his latest revelation was like. that was kind of like newer, because this guy's been doing this stuff for like 20, I don't know, let's say 30 years probably, researching these stone circles. And yeah, he just came across, and then basically they found out that these stone circles were attuned to different, and basically wanted to find out what frequencies they were attuned to. That's basically what Dan Winter was saying. So Dan Winter was like, yeah, I'm going to help you work out what each one of these stone circles is doing from a healing perspective. And we're going to see the variance. It was like mind blowing stuff, basically. Like you're seeing it real live, like, scientific research that's about to happen in real time. It was pretty cool. Um, so that is bioenergetics. So basically, bioenergetics, or the word that I'm using. So I forgot about the word bioenergetics and I made up my own word. So my company name, it's beautiful anyway. I'm so happy because, as I told you lot last week or 2 weeks ago when I revealed the name of my clinic, um, the Ma'at Vibrology Wellness Center, which is what I'm opening in. So that equals the number 99 in numerology, which just blew my mind. Again, that was just pure. Anyway, I explained the story before. I don't want to repeat myself, but essentially it equals the number 99, which was just mind blowing. Um, and yeah, the word that I made up was vibrology, which essentially really isn't that different to bioenergetics, essentially. Um, so it's not that different. I mean, I could maybe argue some differences, but it's similar enough. It's themed enough. It's in the same grouping basically. But I like the word vibrology, so yeah, I enjoy that word. That intuitively came to me without me doing any research, and I was like, what is the name that encapsulates everything that I'm trying to do? And then vibrology was basically it. So yeah, the study of vibrations, just to be clear, just in case anyone else is tired as well. So yeah, um vibrology is the study. That's what basically I'm going to be dedicating this whole system to, is vibrology, but then also obviously balancing. So the vibrology then explains the harmonics. This is why within my system I've got the harmonics. So again, everything is interconnected. These three different ways of looking at self. Again, as a reminder, the psycho-spiritual, it's kind of like your personality test. If I was being real, simplifying it down to its real simple level, a series of advanced personality tests. And I would say, and the reason why we call it psycho spiritual is because it's not just focused on the mind, it's also focused on the spirit as well. And then we have as I said, the soul level, which is your readings, your divination system. And then we have the bioenergetics. So I'm struggling to think if anyone's got any other ideas, if you feel like I've missed out anything off the table, because I've not really went into the detail of like there's like 50 services that I have, quite honestly. Like again, this is me, so I'm just overly complicated. But I have about 50 different services that I can offer. And I'm probably not going to promote any of them. Well, I'll probably promote a few of them. Um, but it's just mainly based on a custom basis. It's just they can just all be blended as and when, depending on the client. And I come up, and obviously I'm intuitive, and so I'm likely to not even follow half of my own framework and guidelines, and just come up with something on the spot that I feel intuitively is going to work. So yeah, let me just look at the chat. Sorry, because someone asked me a question. So mind body connection, could that be the air and earth element? I've been coming across a lot of videos mentioning Saturn, air. Okay. Um, yes, as above, so below. So yeah, maybe you joined late, but yeah, or maybe just weren't able to connect the two. So yeah, absolutely, the as above, so below, which is the Hermetic ideology, and in that Hermetic ideology, as above, so below, as within, so without. And so yeah, the as above obviously is the air, the so below is the earth. The as above is the sky, the so below is the mother in its most classical framework. And so, yeah, absolutely. You want to be doing meditations. So, I have one particular Qigong move that I do. A couple of them actually. Well, it's kind of like a series. It blends. Again, it's a blend. It's a movement basically. It's a movement. Um, so yeah, it's just a movement basically. I mean, I'll just show it to you. It's literally just this. So you push your hands up. So as you go up, you breathe up, you breathe out, only through your nose. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Do that 8 times. It's qigong. They kind of work on the cycles of eight often, cycles of fours and eights basically, or cycles of fours. Cycles of fours you tend to find is a rhythmic number within, is a harmonic number within, harmonic resonating is the harmonic number within Chinese sciences, the eight. And um yeah, so you do that 8 times, and then you go below. So again, you start from your chest and then you go down, stand up, ugh, you go down, and you might do one, go up, center, and you center yourself, and you go back up. You got that one there. You got next one. You got next one. Go away from the camera. And you got this one. Obviously, I'm not doing it exactly properly, but you get the idea. And that basically connects heaven and earth. They're like 3 to 4. What was it? 3 exercises, I think. 3 exercises that connect heaven and earth. If you can do it outside, if you can do it with your shoes off, like no socks, bare feet basically. And if you can do it in mud or grass or in nature, you do that, you'll be sorted, mate. Basically, you'll be balanced. You'll be sorted. I could give you some more advanced techniques that you can incorporate. So you can incorporate visualization into that as well. Um, yeah, I'll give it to you. I mean, I don't, yeah, I'll just give it to you because you asked. So, yeah, you basically visualize these. You basically visualize you giving love to Mother Earth, Gaia, and then you visualize you receiving love from Mother Earth. And so there's a recycling of love and nurturing and stability, mother energies, you know, of course. And then you're up, you're honoring the sun, or you're using the sun as a symbol. So these are symbols, these are archetypes. We don't worship out here, people. It's not a worshiping channel. So you give thanks and honor to the sun, or light, even if you want to go more galactical, more universal, and then boom. And you imagine your hands receiving the rays, the coherent rays of the sun, and then you imagine yourself pushing your array, your centered sun, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. You imagine that going up and connecting with the sun. And you imagine the sun coming down, giving you his big light. Boom. Yeah. So for me, as I said, I've said it quite a few times, and did a whole video on it where I think it was like the 10 essential. Check out my video, the 10 essential exercises or something like this. It was like basically the last video in my Infinite series. My last video in my Infinite series, I basically give the 10 spiritual practices that I think should be essential, that everyone I think should be paying attention. I feel like they're universal, basically. They're pretty much universal. And if I remember correctly, I said 9 out of 10 of them are, and one of them is just my personal preference. Basically, it's like I just enjoy it. It works for me, and so I added it to the list. But the other 9 are you can't argue against. You couldn't tell me why you shouldn't be doing some form of energy work. There's no one in the world that can convince me. Or I'd love to hear an argument of someone trying to convince me that energy work shouldn't be part of your spiritual journey. I'm not sure how you could convince me of that. But again, do you? Do you? It's not. Do you? Basically. But yeah, I wouldn't. I would struggle to understand. I would struggle to understand basically why you wouldn't be doing energy work, why you wouldn't be trying to cultivate, strengthen, and harmonize. So the two aspects of energy work is to strengthen your energy, increase your energy. I'm going to say 3 aspects actually. So I'll say a third aspect, which is the more advanced one. So the first one is you just want to be able to increase. The second one is you want to be able to harmonize. And then the third one is you want to be able to manipulate. You want to be able to manipulate your energy. So you practice um the breath ones. I've spoken about this one before. I think maybe in that video as well, but I'll just give you a flavor of it now. You practice tip of the tongue. You practice basically breathing up there, and then you'll do that until you can feel the energy, until you can get into a trance state. That basically means that you're able to focus your energy, basically. So once you've mastered being able to focus your energy, you're then able to take that focused energy here and then move it throughout your body to heal yourself. It's basically advanced. It might take you a lifetime to achieve. I won't say lifetime, but like, you know, I don't know. Everyone works with spirit. Like we're in the age of transformation, to be honest. We're in the age of the quickening. Like everything is happening for me 10x at the moment, quite honestly. It's pretty cool. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video, probably the bit that I'll edit off. I'm too much. I'm not sure. But yeah, probably the bit that I'll edit off basically. And I was saying that yeah, I'm at least right now myself personally. I'm at least at the 5x level. I would say on almost everything. But I'd probably say I basically have manifested. So my first of one of my key videos in the Infinite series, because the Infinite series, that's my baby. That's the main thing that everyone needs to watch. If you're ever interested in my work that I do, the Infinite series will change your life, as someone has told me on this channel that didn't even know me. Like someone's just like, yeah, I've been watching your videos and my life has changed from the Infinite series. So again, I highly recommend that you do that, or people do that, because in there is limitless gems if you know how to implement it. Basically, if you can decipher what I'm actually trying to say. And yeah, sorry, yeah, and I don't remember what I was going to say. Yeah, I'm going to lose my track of thought. Train of thought there today. Um, energy work. I think I was talking about energy work. I can't remember. But yeah, anyway, we keep it moving. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up soon. I'm just gonna wrap up soon. Um, I'm just gonna wrap up soon, man. Um, Basically, I just need to have 10 hours to myself. I just need 10 hours to myself. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. But I'm gonna get that this weekend. Like, it's already like I'm gonna get that. Oh, I was talking about 10x. Oh yeah, doing my own synchronicities there. I just said 10. Yo, I can't wait to have a cup of tea as well, boy. I cannot wait to have a cup of tea. I just cannot wait. So, I was saying that basically in the Infinite series, one of the 100 key themes that I give away is this concept of 10x, 10xing, and this ridiculously amazing life transformational idea and concept that 10x is easier than 2x. You're like, huh? How can doing being how can being 10 times more richer, 10 times more better, 10 times more powerful be easier than 2x? That don't make no sense. You're crazy. You've lost me. Like, it doesn't make sense. Obviously, it doesn't make sense intuitively for most people. But um oh, yo, okay, cool, yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna take from that that you've watched that you've heard me speak about that. So maybe again, I repeat myself certain times because obviously some of these things I speak about are key themes. So obviously I'm just naturally gonna point people in the direction more than once. Um, but yeah, just whilst I'm speaking about it, yeah. So just the basic principle of 10x is easier than 2x is that to 2x you normally just work harder. So say like you earn £100,000 and you're like, okay, we just wanna 2x this year. 95% of the time, all you're going to do is work harder, which basically just means work longer. You're going to basically do the same things that you were doing before. You're just going to do more of them. You're just going to double your workforce. You're just going to hire twice as much staff. You're going to spend twice as much money on marketing, you know, and generally it will work because that formula to get to you to where you was is going to also get you to where you're going because it's called a trajectory for a reason. When you 10x, you basically have to break the mold. You can no longer do the things that you were doing before. So why that's easier is that you realize the epiphany will happen when you do this. When you look at this in your life, the epiphany will happen where you'll realize that 80% of what you're doing is a waste of time. Not necessarily a waste of time. Sorry, apologies. That's a bit too harsh. Let's be nicer. 80% of what you're doing is not productive, is inefficient. And so in order to 10x, you have to focus on hyper efficiency and ideas that move you into the bound of the unknown and chaos realm. And chaos is where the power is, of course. 2x doesn't you don't tap into the I don't think I've even said I don't even think I actually framed it that way before. I feel like I'm framing it new, even though, it's all kind of there, but I feel like I'm connecting, the dots differently. But 2x doesn't allow you to tap into the chaos realm. That 2x allows you to tap into the realm of order or to continue in the well, maybe you've got chaos to be there to even get to your, where you was. It was chaotic, but once you've actually got a roadmap and a blueprint that 2x and it just is simple to do. Um, but it's going to exhaust you. It will fatigue you. You are going to be working longer hours. Oh, I spent 100. I'm working 50 hours a week right now, which is, full-time job in this business, and I've earned 50k profit. You don't care about revenue. Okay, so your business had over £1 million. What's your profit? I don't really care about your revenue. But yeah, so what's your profit? So all right, cool. We just need to work twice as hard. So I'm just gonna put in 100 hours. I'm not gonna sleep. I'm just gonna sacrifice sleep. Sleep is a cousin of death. Whatever. Just sacrifice sleep to be nice. So try and bust some cannabis lines. To be nice, I sacrifice things like no sleep. One of my favorite lines. To be nice, I sacrifice things like no sleep and keep a library of lyrics on macrothesis. Yo, I'm not gonna start spitting bars. Cannabis got bars. Anyway, I was listening to cannabis yesterday as well. Yeah, anyway, whatever. One of my favorite rappers, basically, my top five. Anyway, whatever. Keep moving. So, what was I saying? Yeah, 2x. So basically, with 10x, you basically have to tap into the chaos realm, i.e., the realm of unlimited potential, and you have to basically be able to pull. Yeah, you basically have to have the ability to pull from that realm, and that realm doesn't work on linear time. Yep, yep. Trust, Paul. So 10x doesn't work on linear time, and anything that doesn't work on linear time has the potential to become effortless. So there's a book called 10x is more powerful. 10x, 2x is more powerful than 10x, but they're not speaking no metaphysics like what I'm speaking, what I just did there. Ain't none of that stuff was in it. There was no metaphysics in it. So yeah, basically, again, connecting the dots. It's just what we have to do, bro. It's just like connecting the dots. You just have to be able to connect the dots. And I'll tell you the task. I'll tell you. Let me show you. I will do a little screen share. I'll show you how difficult the task of connecting the dots is because this road isn't for everybody. I wouldn't recommend this road be for everybody. That's why I cannot wait for next week. I can't. Yo, anyone listening to this, make sure you listen to me next week. Just, I, more fool you. That's all I'm gonna say. More fool you if you don't watch next week. You don't have to watch it live. Who cares about that? But if you don't watch my video next week and you're listening to this, more fool you. I can't say anything more stronger than this. Like, I warned you. That's all I can say. I warned you. Didn't we, Santana? We warned them. um. So where are we now? What am I going to share? Oh yeah, let me share out my thing. Let me share this. So again, I've shared this before. So again, right now I'm probably going to bounce in a few minutes, but let me just share this. The journey ahead. Let me share how difficult the journey ahead is of what we're trying to achieve in this so-called thing called life. All right, cool. What are you doing? Invisible. Disabling this app. You know, I need to just disable. I haven't used this thing. Now what are you doing? There you go. What are you trying to do, people? Leave me alone, mate. All right, cool. Share my screen. Boom. All right, yeah. So basically, there is something called inactivism. Yeah. So again, I don't expect everyone to watch all my videos. So, I have mentioned this before for about 30 seconds. Inactivism. So one of my key themes is something called inactivism. I'll just get it up, Google it, just so you can read it for yourself, because I haven't prepared the stuff. So inactivism is a position in cognitive science that argues that cognition arises through a dynamical interaction between an acting organism and its environment. Basically it. So inactivism rejects mainstream concepts of mind that strongly demarcate, i.e., separate minds from bodies and environments. It holds that such conceptions are not just justified and should be rethought. So you get the idea basically. So basically that the reason why I enjoy inactivism as a theme or a philosophy, why it's incorporated into my systems as a body of thought, is because these external and internal influences, or the external and the internal and external, are dynamically, simultaneously influencing one another to the point where you can create something called gap junctions. Um, That's a real technical word. You can look it up yourself. You can create something called a gap junction. Do you know what? I've actually never looked into gap junctions because I've only listened to a podcast. I've only listened to the research paper because this is pioneering stuff. Basically, this is like cutting edge science, like 2025 stuff. Gap junctions. So there's a leading biophysicist that I not bio. Oh, sorry, a leading biologist that I listen to called Michael Levin. This guy basically is going to be the architect of transhumanism. Take that for what you wish. But I listen to him because I listen to cutting edge stuff. That's just me. So anyway, let's go images for this one. Send what link? Start. Yo, is that who I think it is? Starscreen Kid. Is that who I think it is? Is that you, Alex? I don't even know. Just let me know if that's you. And what link you talking about, by the way? What I don't know what link you're talking about. I'm not sure what I spoke about. But yeah, there's something called gap junctions. And basically, gap junctions is when two separate systems open up their gates. So imagine a system as a closed gate. Yeah. You might want to research something called free energy principle. It's not what you think it is. Again, I've mentioned this stuff before. Like, this is technical science shit. Like, real technical, advanced, pioneering, leading. Like, anyway, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, the deeper science of it is something called free energy principles and Markovian blankets. I don't even think I mentioned that last time. I didn't think I even wanted to scare you with that kind of word, them kind of terminologies. But basically, you might want to look at if you want to really study this stuff on a deep level in terms of interconnectedness of your biology, you might want to look into something called Markov blankets. That's a little hint there, basically. You've got to actually try and understand what they're actually talking about because that is some proper science. I ain't a scientist, by the way. So I had to spend, tens of hours trying to decode that shit, but I did it. So anyway, um, basically what they're saying is that when two systems open their gates, you can't, those two systems won't understand what self is. Their point of reference when it comes to self, when their gates is closed, completely changes when two systems are open and there is an interaction. That system that would have been able to be consciously have a self identity, its identity gets now integrated, lost, merged, basically, in that gap. Because this gap has been created. There's an energy exchange. Basically, it's an energy exchange. Again, this is all energy. I'm only studying this because it allows me to understand vibration and it allows me to understand harmony. Again, there's a method to the madness. I don't just go to this tech. I'm not trying to be a doctor or a scientist. I'm trying to be a metaphysician and an alchemist and a vibrologist. And I made it up, so I'm the lead. I'm a leading vibrologist. I made the word up, so joking. One of one. So anyway, um, yeah, gap junctions, basically. So what we're basically saying is that these two gates are dynamical and open. These are both open systems. You know, you can't, it's difficult for you to close your gate. You would have to, you would have to be a, you would have to be, you would have to become a master alchemist. If you were, you would have to become a master magician. You would have to become a master occultist in order to be able to have the ability to open and close your gates. That's the kind of levels that you would need to be having. Again, because that's what I said, that the advanced level is energy manipulation. So we can just see these systems as being one, but from a dualistic, again, the illusion of separation, going back to that oneness again, in the illusion of separation, we can speak about it semantically or objectively as as within so without. And so magic. Let's go. Whoa, look at this atom. No, I'm joking, playing with you lot. It's having fun today, man. I told you lot. It's a celebration. It's a low vibe. It's a low key. It's a low chill celebration. So this is an atom, or this is an ecosystem. This is an ecosystem of the external and internal. And then yeah, we're just playing about today with the app. It's just the app that I use basically. I think it's so cool. And then basically we can just hyper focus into any one of these aspects. So we're basically saying that these are your internal influences. Um, and so I built this, by the way, just to be clear. This is one of my bespoke shit. This is one of my 100 bespoke stuff that I just built for the fun of it, just as a visual display. It doesn't actually have a practical application when you click on this. So there are no, yeah. Anyway, you don't even know what this app does, so I don't need to explain it. But yeah, basically, it's a visual representation. It's a infograph, data visualization. So we're basically saying that these are all the things that influence the internal, the body types, your perceptions, your work-life balance, your motivations, your desires, your magic, your ambition, so on and so forth. All of these things are the dynamical form part of your dynamical internal system. And basically what I did is I only went to, so in systems thinking, systems building, which is basically what this is based on, which is basically what everything's based on. Everything's a system. Hence why we teach infinite design. How to live infinitely. You can either live as a finite beings versus infinite games. I actually feel like I'm getting more energy. Like my energy is just rising again. I can feel it. Like obviously I feel energy. Maybe it was that above and so below Qigong thing that I did, but my energy is raising. Um, but yeah, so or maybe I don't do well with speaking subdued because I'm holding so much back today. I'm holding so much back in this conversation. Like I've actually subdued myself. So I may not have low energy because before this call I was on some hype shit. So I think literally I just came on this call knowing that I can't reveal everything today. Like I'm close, but like not there. So I think it was more that in fairness. But yeah, like I can reveal everything here. You know what I mean? So anyway, whatever. So yeah, in systems thinking, you have uh a hierarchy. You have hierarchies basically. So they call it first order principles, second order principles, third order principles. You can go as much, you can go as long. You know, the number is infinite to a degree, or depend on how many levels and layers within that particular system that there is. And so within this data visualization, I've actually only went to second order principles. So what I mean by that is, let's look at your desires. Yeah, so within your internal, you have something called your desires. So we're basically just a bunch of desires. And within your desires, I've then got another 5 layers, 5 levels: emotional desires, aspirational desires, physical desires, social desires, and material desires. So I've only went up to the second order on this particular illustration. If I wanted to, I could have broken down further your emotional desires into easily. So I'll give you a bit of a hint for next week. So one of the things that so that this thing that I'm going to be revealing next week has the ability to break down yourself on a bioenergetic level on 51 emotional desires. That's just one of the 1,000 things it does, this tool. Sorry, that's just one of the 1,700 things this tool does. Apologies, I misspoke there. Yes, I did say that. Your smartwatch right now has 5 biomarkers. 5. And you pay £500 for that Apple smartwatch or for that whatever. I don't know how much I take. I know they got special versions of all them kind of things. I'm just gonna say the word 500. I'm not into apples anyway, whatever. But £500. for 5 biomarkers: stress, blood oxygen, whatever. That's fine. I don't know. There's maybe more than 5, but most people only check them like only 5 of them are useful anyway. It ain't even that useful. I'm saying the thing that I'm working with has got 1,700 biomarkers. So that would be the first order. Yeah. 1,700. One of those 1,700 is 51 emotional desires or 51 states. 51 states, 51 biomarkers basically that look at emotions. I'm never going to say no more because if I start talking about this thing out, yeah, I just come out of me straight away. But like, yes, that's all I'm going to say. So yeah, my whole point is you could break this down to a third level order, and then you could have to describe that stuff as well, how it interplays with each other. So I'm saying that this work isn't easy. That's why it's taken me so much focused attention, because it's not really even the time. It's actually how much energy I put into this. The intention was the interconnectedness, but the attention, the focused attention, is max. Don't really do much else. Like I said, I'm obsessed with this stuff. This is not part time for me. This is everything. Genuinely. Like I'm not saying that lightly. This is genuinely everything for me. And yeah, it kind of needs to be. Everyone has their own purpose and their own destiny. So for me, one of the things I enjoy about my my journey, not even gonna call it spiritual. I'm not even gonna use the word spiritual anymore. Just my journey. This this thing is called journey, by the way. It's called the journey. But it doesn't look like your conventional map. This is more like a star map as opposed to a car journey, Google map kind of thing. Anyway, one of the things I enjoy about my journey in hindsight, which, only took me 10 years to realize, was that my sales and marketing career, and even now when I think about it, like based on the conversations that I'm having with, I'm basically speaking to the business owner of this technology, and the hindsight is clear. I mean, the hindsight's been clear for a couple of years, in fairness, in terms of what I really want to be able to do is become a master of simplifying complicated shit, basically. So overhead, I can't remember, I counted it once. I kind of group counted it. I didn't count it like each individual dot, but there was like over 100 and something. It's like 120 or something like that, different dots. And conceptually, I built this in about 5 minutes. What you're seeing here, so as in it's not even that deep. Like it's not. It's really not even deep. This is just like a taste. This is just like a quick visual, just so you can get the idea that life is very complex, and that basically what I basically teach him at my spiritual life coaching classes, or the one just whenever I show this, the main emphasis is compassion. We're basically saying that you never stood a chance. Life wasn't designed for you to get it, especially straight away. It really wasn't. And so so I basically quite honestly laugh at the people's frustration with life in terms of why they're not further along in their spiritual journey or whatever journey. Why is this not happening? Why is that not happening? You know, why am I still not at peace and I've been trying for so long? You know, well, that's because you need to kind of get. It's quite hard for you not to feel within your body within your mind, within your soul, when something is out of balance. And so when we're saying you're in balance, it's because you've got most of these things in balance, and the ones that are not in balance are more are intentional. Like, I'm just gonna let that slide. And you just understand that in this physical body, you can't be all. You have a thing called an identity, and that identity has a certain level of signature to it. And um, that signature is what makes you unique. But what makes you unique also makes you what you are not. Like, opportunity cost. There's an opportunity cost which comes as a consequence of being unique. And so often you are trying to be things that you are not, which also adds to the problem as well. Like, obviously, that compounds. That's a 10x compounding problem, clearly. Is people being things that they are not, like, obviously. Because they don't understand the difference between self and not self. So yeah, if anyone's watching this channel, you haven't subscribed, you haven't liked, subscribe and like the video. Um, if you want to, if you so choose, it's up to you. Not fussed. I'd appreciate it though. Um, and yeah, I'm about to get off soon because I feel like anything else I say, I will just open up another tangent and another, well, not even a tangent, but just another area. Because yeah, ending on a note of compassion for yourself and self-love and mercy. So the infinitely compassionate and merciful. It's Ramadan. Hmm. Titles of Allah, the most compassionate and most merciful. Um, Having that for yourself is crucial. It's crucial to cultivate self-compassion and self-mercy. If you get far with that, you can't really lose. Basically, you can only win. To even be more, to keep on a positive, you can basically only win if you have self-love and compassion. Um, and these frustrations that we have in life, some can often come because we think that we should be doing more. And obviously, we can always do more. 10x is easier than 2x, but it's how you do that more. Are you bringing the finite energy into that more, or are you bringing that infinite energy into that more? You know, are you bringing the aspect of not self into that more, or are you bringing the aspect of self into that more? Are you understanding that there is no more because everything is everything and all is all? And so the concept of more even itself can be questioned. When will enough be enough? And when is enough enough? And how does the enough being enough create? Enough is enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough of this life. I'm fucked off, mate. I've had enough. Someone said that to me today. I've had enough, mate. It was worse than that, by the way. I don't know if that person's listening. Yo, when will enough be enough from a metaphysical perspective? So yeah. Anyway, those are just thoughts for consideration as usual. That's a nice way to end it. On a note of consideration and a question. And in the question, I hope your journey has meaning, and that you realize that that meaning was the point of the journey, and the destination is just an icing on the cake. And so, with that said, tune into next week or watch next week's video because it's going to be mind blowing. Peace and love. I'm out. Check the description as well for if you want to reach out to me. Book a time in my Calendly, in my link tree. 15-minute free reading as well. I do readings. They're also mind blowing. Yo, I'm out. Peace.